I know Bob Ramsey loves it as well.
It's hilarious.
It's like the dumbest comedy I've ever seen in my entire
It's
life.
dumb, but it's really, really funny. And there's just a couple of lines in there you just never forget. And the fact that I am mentioned in that movie adds to it.
Are you mentioned in that movie?
Yes.
Where?
So
Where?
I think,
Where? Where does
I don't
that
know if
happen?
you were here that day, but Bob Gale was a counselor at my summer day camp for years. And he got a kick out of the name Cusimano. So when he was writing this movie, when Kurt Russell was in a bar scene and he was betting on the game because he needed money to keep the car dealership alive, he was betting a lot of money. On the broadcast, you could hear the broadcaster say, and I've used it on TV, Cusimano to the 30, Cusimano to the 20, touchdown, Cusimano. And I remember because his father was at the Gatesworth with my mom, and somehow we connected, and I said, I got to ask you. And then he told me, because I had never met him before. So.
Oh, that's really cool. And yes, we definitely need to have him on the show. And we'll have even more ammunition after we learn more about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff from Back to the Future today. Breaking news just in the last minute or so from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that a Harvard study has come out saying that the cancer risk for children who lived near Coldwater Creek in St. Louis County is higher than the general population. Lots of talk in the last week or so about this RECA funding. Josh Hawley, been a big advocate, a group of moms in the county saying that we've for too long pretended that the contamination in some of our waterways that are near children is not happening, and this new study, I think, backs up some of the claims that people have been making for a long time, and hopefully will get them the attention and support they need in light of this. But big news this morning. Again, St. Louis Post-Dispatch just breaking the story, I think, a minute ago.
Boy, that is going to be brutal. There's going to be a lot of attorneys on this right away.
Yeah. Well, and there has been for a while, but it's been one of those things that people were considering some of this quote evidence anecdotal. So research and science hopefully can back up what people living in the area have said for a long time. You guys, today marks 30 years since Amazon.com launched. Do you remember when it was just a bookstore that everybody was worried might end up putting Barnes & Noble out of business? And Barnes & Noble had been the bad guy because it put so many small-time bookstores out of business. And little did we know it was going to go so beyond books these 30 years later and put lots of other kinds of stores out of business, actually.
Yeah, in 2024, I think their yearly sales, or that year, was over $600 billion. $600 billion. And who doesn't know somebody that doesn't get like an Amazon package at least once every 2 weeks?
Once every 2 weeks. I think it's more like once every 2 days for a lot of people.
Well, you're from old money. You order stuff all the time.
It's become...
In fact, during the show, you're online often ordering, correct?
Oh, yeah, just shopping all the time. I'm not paying attention to anything else that's happening. I would say in our neighborhood, sometimes package thefts are a little bit of a deal, so we do have to kind of watch that out. But I know a lot of people that get almost every single thing. I mean, I'm talking everything from toilet paper to Q-tips from Amazon these days.
You know who doesn't want that to happen is Michael Steinberg, who's going to join us from the Steinberg Group at 11:35. What he's doing in Chesterfield is going to be really, really special, including shops.
Yeah, and although he's been kind of ahead of the game, right? When everybody else was still like, oh, let's keep just building new kinds of malls or shiny retail, he's like, I think people are actually coming out for things like entertainment and food. And so let's think about new development that is centered around that and residences as this sort of lifestyle, walking lifestyle, even in traditionally suburban areas. And turns out he's been right. If you look at the success of the District, which is his brainchild out in Chesterfield, and the Factory. Have you been to a concert there?
I have not. The interesting thing about Michael, though, is the Kroenke connection, the Kroenke divorce, and then the Kroenke continuing relationship with some. He has two properties, I think, with Stan now. But at one time they were close, and then they had a bitter breakup, and now I think they've kind of smoked the peace pipe. But anybody who had an argument with Stan Kroenke, I'm in his corner.
And the amount of money that they have not only made but given away is staggering.
And he's not even a St. Louisan. That's interesting. Either is Bob O'Loughlin. Right. And they just come here and they just do great things for us.
They certainly both have been here so long, and we were lucky enough to have them care a lot about our city. How was your interview with Richard Chavit, speaking of people who aren't St. Louisans but having a big impact on our city?
Yeah, we talked a lot of pickleball, but we got into the whole basketball angle, and I think it's a fair question. Is it why is it important to you? Why do you do it? You put all that money and all this time into helping a basketball team get more players. I mean, are there more important things? Are there more notable causes? And he's got a really educated, really erudite response to it. I think it's kind of cool. You'll see that interview on Sunday night.
Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely appointment television for people to see for sure. Because, and I'm glad you asked him the question. And other people who have been big supporters of sports teams who are also philanthropists are turning the tide in a different direction now, and they have valid reasons behind it too. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
And I should say this: he doesn't just do that; he builds buildings and all this stuff for St. Louis University too. It's not just basketball, but he's the reason that SLU's going to have an unbelievable roster. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll have the opening dialogue on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in, because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the hill. Whether you live on the hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage. Doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
Hi, Matt Kearns, president of St. Lou Fringe. Grab a festival pass and meet me August 11th through 17th at STL Fringe Fest 25 for comedy, including the anti-sketch show Fever Dream, the stand-up original comedy of Mary Popping, a comedy showcase starring Paul Cheragino, STL Tonight Live with Andrew Gieselman, and even a show for all you Godzilla nerds out there. Godzilla's not a dinosaur. Grab passes and tickets for STL Fringe Fest today, and I'll see you at the Fringe for a laugh. STLFringe.org.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you. BishopsPost.com.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS. Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment. You fill out a health questionnaire form. You get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine-based. It's all done from your home. And then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners. And then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS.
Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, here we go. Thought one. British Open, final major in golf begins tomorrow. This is really not about golf, though. Scottie Scheffler is the best player in the world, and there's really no doubt about it. Yesterday, he said the following: "This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of the deepest places of your heart. That's something that I wrestle with on a daily basis. Why do I want to win the Open Championship so badly? I don't know, because if I win, it's going to be awesome for just 2 minutes." And here's the best quote: "We work so hard for such little moments. At the end of the day, I just don't understand the point." And I think he's thinking to himself, I spend hours trying to make 4-foot putts, 6-foot putts, 8-foot putts, all for this 2-minute bit of sensation at the end of a tournament. Let me say this: he is worth $90 million because of golf, and he is only 29. I'm not jumping him. I'm applauding him. Pretty cool that a guy has this type of introspection. And you know what? I think in a way, we all feel this way about our jobs. Like, oh, we won the Salesperson of the Year award. Oh, and just think how hard we work to get that. And the feeling lasts just a few minutes. I'm not saying don't strive, but I am saying remember what's important. I don't think I've ever seen somebody so young and so successful being so candid about his craft. He's not asking for sympathy. He's just opening up, and I applaud Scottie Scheffler for doing just that yesterday.
Wow, good stuff. I'm going to nerd out, which no one will be surprised out, for just 1 second on this, because I've been off and on working on a book on the psychological state of contentment and how it's really underrated, but actually one of the most powerful best states we can be in the human experience. And I did a really deep dive into a ton of Olympic athletes' experiences of winning gold and how it actually fit in to their life and their sense of satisfaction and what happiness it delivered to them long term. And exactly what he's saying is uniformly every single time, saying we're fed this message culturally that it's all about achievement and markers and getting to the next level of whatever. But it turns out, until you can learn how to internally really appreciate and savor and make presence in being in this moment now, your purpose, it really doesn't deliver what everybody thinks it's going to.
Yeah, the Olympics is a perfect example of that because it is just a short, isolated moment. What it's just like the 400 meters and your whole life. And let's just say you don't win. I mean, Scheffler is winning and he's being like this. So the Olympics is a perfect example of that.
Well, and I think you and I probably fall victim to this, and a lot of people do. If I had enough money, I wouldn't have to worry anymore. But it turns out, unless you're in poverty, anything above, the extremely rich actually report levels of less satisfaction, have all kinds of other challenges, until the ones who report the highest level of satisfaction are the people who give the most away. Yeah. So, I mean, there's really, I'm not making this up on some, soapbox. The data's there, and we just don't want to hear it. We want to hear that the more we acquire and the more we achieve, the happier we'll be, even if the information keeps telling us the opposite time and time again. So a lot of us drive by every single day. The Brentwood office building used to be known as the Magna building, right at 170 and 40, that big shiny silver building on the right. You know what I'm talking about there? Yeah. And somebody who's been familiar to this show, a guest on the show, Jim Onder, attorney and founder of the Onder Law personal injury law firm, has bought the building, $34 million. Going to have about 50 tenants. There's a great workout facility in there as well. That's going to stay around. And he's going to use it as a secondary location for his law firm, but also housing. It's because it's just a good business decision. Apparently, it's well over 90% occupied now, and currently 95% occupied. And there has been recent renovations to the tune of $2.4 million in capital and improvements. And so there's a lot of good stuff in there. And he just decided to take advantage of the prime real estate there and expand his
God, those lawyers,
law firms.
It's just unbelievable.
Well, it's the plaintiffs' attorneys are I think where the real money is there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, thought two. The celebration of Art Holliday's career, wonderful man who had a 45-year career at one station, staggering. The highlight of the night, a surprise appearance by Jennifer Blome. She was going to be out of town, so much so they actually taped a segment with her about a month ago, but she shocked Art by showing up. Mike Bush had a clever way of jabbing at Art. Art has the loudest voice. He really does. I mean, the door can be shut in his office and you can hear him. They literally had to move him out of one office because he spoke so loudly. Thanks to Art, Mike said, everybody knows how much all of our reporters make per year. Kelly Jackson sang a funny song. What a voice she has. Tony Chambers' band, the great photographer, played a tune underneath the song. Brilliant. Art's wife had a good line, something like, I'm sure you will find something to do in retirement, but hopefully it won't be at home. Ron Jacober, Scott Connell, Heidi, Karen Foss, Kim Hibbs, Art's brother Clyde, Carol Fowler, the former news director, among others in attendance last night. Congrats to Art on a wonderful career.
So did you talk?
No, I was working. So.
And we talked a little bit earlier off air that you were excited because you've been friends with Art for a long time to be able to send him off in style. And you were a little concerned about the roast format because you said sometimes those can go awry. What did you think about the tone of it, what you were able to attend?
I watched a big chunk of it online. So I thought everybody was good. I mean, nothing got too nasty. So it was proper.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's one of those things that it's okay to kid and make it funny, but sometimes it just, even if it's hilarious to some people, it just goes to the point where you think, gosh, if I'm sitting there, am I going to walk away psychologically damaged from this instead of feeling seen and cared for by my people who I've worked with for all these years? So I'm glad it was great. He deserves it. A legend in St. Louis who's made a big impact in our community and the media in St. Louis. So over the weekend, I was reminiscing with my cousins who I didn't get to see a lot about growing up and our summer trips to Minnesota. And then we were talking about just in general how swimming at the town pool was just the best way to spend a day through all of our childhoods. And then
town pool.
Yeah, the town pool. That's what we had.
Not the complex pool.
Not the neighborhood pool.
But the town pool. Everybody's invited. That's great.
It was. Yeah. And I remember thinking it was the longest bike ride to get there. And then I drove it as an adult. And I was like, that was about 1 mile. But as a kid, I was pedaling fast. Anyway, the thing that I remembered as well that came to mind is I'm talking about through my childhood, I think maybe even into college, for sure into high school. I thought that if you ate any food and swam within 30 minutes of eating that food, you would be paralyzed and sink to the bottom of the pool like a rock. I mean, we were good swimmers in our family. We all swam on the swim team. But it was such a hard and fast rule by the lifeguards at the pool that we lived and died with and spent every day. And we heard it so often that I think I was in high school or college before I finally swam right after I ate, realized I felt pretty much the same as I had when I swim on an empty stomach. And it didn't end up being the thing it was made out to be. Anyone else remember that or anything like that as a kid, that a rule that you probably didn't realize needed to be a rule? My mom said she grew up, her mom would never let her get into any kind of water without a swim cap on her head because she was convinced that she would catch the death of a cold even in the heat of summer and die. And then it was, when we were growing up, she would laugh at that and say, oh, that's not true anymore. But did you guys, if you grew up in the 60s or 70s, did you guys hear that remember that rule and that the lifeguards used to tell us that if you ate, you were going to perish? It reminded me of the John Mulaney bit. Because it was the plot of many a sitcom or drama in the 70s and 80s, and turns out quicksand hasn't proved to be a big problem for us. Do you remember
was it a real
that
thing?
Don't eat?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I never told my kids that. None of the lifeguards told them that either. It can't really be a thing anymore.
No, can't be. No. Yeah, that's funny. Was quicksand like legit? I mean, it was in a lot of movies or shows.
It is legit, and even in places like Alaska they have it, and somebody will die occasionally from it, but it's not nearly as big of an issue as I think we were meant to think it was.
All right, thought 3, a program you have to watch, ESPN Plus, The Life and Legacy of Jim Abbott. He was born without a right hand. He became a star quarterback in high school and a first-round draft choice as a left-handed pitcher and had a wonderful big league career. And one day, he threw a no-hitter at Yankee Stadium. It really digs deeply about what it's like growing up with a disability with one hand. They actually gave him a hook at one time, but that didn't work out. 1 out of 250,000 babies are born without a hand, per the documentary. And all these people, or many people, wrote letters who were born without a limb saying they were inspired by him, including pro athletes like Shaq Griffin, who played in the NFL. But the best part, at the end of the doc, his daughter said, "Daddy, do you like your little hand?" His response, "I have to tell you, I do. I like my little hand. I haven't always liked it. At times I hated it. But that's who I am. And it's taken me places I never would have gone without it. My hand has taught me you can do things differently, but you can still do them as well as anybody else." Again, you do not have to be a sports fan. You just should watch it, and you will be moved by it. ESPN, Jeremy Schaap, they did an unbelievable job with this. I think you can watch it on ESPN Plus as we speak.
And this was a story already familiar to you?
Yeah, in fact, I interviewed Jim. He's written some books, strong man of faith, just an unbelievable guy.
Cool. I can't wait to watch that for sure. Third thought for me. So I've been hearing about this Dubai chocolate like many of you have for months. It was a social media just huge trend back in the fall through the winter time. And it essentially, the easiest way to describe it, the food writers at St. Louis Magazine do a better job than I do. It's the sweet treat that is a candy bar made by a Dubai-based chocolatier, and it consists of milk chocolate and a pistachio tahini shredded phyllo filling. And it's an absolutely just taken the world really by storm. The problem was you had to order it online, and it was up to $25 to $60 a bar for the stuff.
Wow.
So I wasn't willing to taste test it. St. Louis Magazine did an article yesterday showing about 10 different locations. You can now get them in St. Louis. A lot of Middle Eastern markets, places all the way from St. Peter's into that adorable Charm Me Sweet candy store in the city. And so I swung by one of the markets yesterday and picked up 3 bars to see if you guys would do a taste test to see if you thought it was worth the hype. And so I want to hear what you both thought about Dubai chocolate, worth the hype or not.
Oh, I thought it was really good, and it was just that crunchy feel. That was just, it was very tasty. I enjoyed it.
And when you first looked at it, what did you think?
It was awfully elegant, the wrapping and the green.
But I mean, inside, did you look in that green kind of brown filling in the middle?
Yeah,
that's the phyllo / pistachios. Yeah.
It was good.
What'd you think?
How much did that cost?
$8 a bar.
Well, and that's cheap. That's cheap compared to what it used to be, Frank. Yeah, it used to be like $20 a bar. I've actually had it before. I like it. I think it was like, I didn't understand the hype. People acting like it was the best thing they'd ever had in their entire life. But it's good. It's good chocolate. You know, it's chocolate. Chocolate and pistachio. Chocolate and pistachios. It's you know, you can only be so bad. You know.
Yeah, I can't wait for Bissinger's chocolate to come up with their version. But I thought it was. I'm exactly like you. I think if it hadn't been so hyped for so many months, and everybody saying, and people like traveling to New York City to get it, I might have been blown away more. I thought it was. To your point, it is delicious. It's really good quality chocolate, and the inside filling is kind of surprising. I mean, at first it looks like shredded green and brown stuff and a little bit of nougat, but when you take a bite of it, the way those flavors blends, it's very good. But okay, now we can say we are indeed on top of the trend. We have had the chance to taste this and keep up with our trendy friends. I did share some with Carl the intern and with McGraw. They were excited to try it because they'd heard about it as well, and both thought it was good as well.
And now Frank can say he had an $8 chocolate bar.
Yeah. I've certainly gotten some $8 licorice. I won't mention the place that sold the licorice.
But I went in eyes wide open. I asked the price before I paid. I wasn't surprised.
Have you ever bought this stuff in a really nice airport, not St. Louis, but a really high-tech airport like Denver, where they sell this like designer licorice in a can? You buy it out of a machine, and it's really nicely wrapped. But it's very expensive too. So.
Is it like $8 for a package?
$15. Yeah.
I mean, everything at the airport. You buy like
Yeah.
headphones, and it's upcharged by like 50% for the same pair of headphones. They've got you. They know you're there.
Yeah, well, if you use Jeff Zufall and his team at Capital Advisory Group to manage your money, I think you could afford all kinds of expensive candy all over the country if you want to. But you probably want to spend your money on other things like peace of mind in retirement, and that's really what Jeff and his team do so well. They are the premier experts at tax-informed investing, which means they understand the stock market and bond market side of things, as well as the intricacies of tax law, which is something that a lot of wealth managers do not bring to the table. That's why Jeff wrote the #1 best-selling book on taxes called Keep What's Yours, the name of the show he does every single weekend here with Josh Gilbert on the Big 550 as well. It's a great show. You're going to learn a lot. His book is very good as well. And it's really the place that you want to take your money and make sure it grows for you. Get the information you need to be able to live in retirement comfortably. CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com, 636-394-5524.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm more and more confident that we will see a significant heat wave around here next week, but in the short term, a one-day bump in temperatures that's going to be enough to push the heat index into triple-digit territory this afternoon. Up to 94 on the thermometer, but it will feel like 102. Plenty of hot sunshine out there, but maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two this afternoon and this evening. Very few and far between. Overnight tonight, though, some weakening thunderstorms rolling in from the north. They may die entirely before they make it to St. Louis. We'll keep an eye on it. A muggy low of about 75. Now Thursday, not as hot, but still humid, up to about 88 in the afternoon with a few thunderstorms developing once again. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
You're finally ready to renovate your home. Riverbend Kitchen and More is your BBB accredited project partner that is attentive and responsive to your vision from concept to completion. Riverbend specializes in kitchens and baths, but also bars, bookcases, cabinetry, countertops, and more. They work with homeowners, contractors, and developers. Proud supplier of Waypoint Living Spaces cabinets, as well as other quality cabinetry lines. Financing is available, conveniently located in Soulard, Alton, and Rescuta. Call 314-314-7411. Online at riverbendkm.com.
Travel iconic Route 66 to Springfield, Illinois. Experience one of America's most beloved presidents, Abraham Lincoln. Explore historic Route 66 that runs throughout the city. Discover vibrant arts and architecture, including the Illinois State Capitol and Frank Lloyd Wright's Dana Thomas House. You can snap a photo as you check out attractions including the Route 66 mural and Wayside Exhibit Trail, Cozy Dog Drive-In, and the Legends Neon Sign Park. Start your exploration today at visitspringfieldillinois.com.
Are you old school or are you new school? Doesn't really matter, because if you need a hardware store, where do you go? Schnarr's Hardware, and their 2 locations, East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and of course their world headquarters on Clayton Road. You see, Schnarr's Hardware is one of those places where you walk in and you say, this thing broke off my toilet. Do you have one of these? Yeah, follow me. And they take you in the back and you pass 19 different aisles of things that you wish you could stop and look at. And do you need a 3-inch or a 4-inch? I think I need a 3-inch. Great. I'll buy 2 and I'll bring the other one back. That's why Schnarr's Hardware has been so successful. It's the customer service and the attention to detail. Whether you need fertilizer or whether you need something for the kitchen, maybe you need something for the big green egg. 2 locations, 1 great hardware store, Schnarr's Hardware. And yes, the popcorn is always free, as well as the smell, because it smells like a hardware store. East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and on Clayton Road in Ladue, Schnarr's or schnarrs.com. We'll see you there.
So glad you're joining us this morning on this Wednesday, Hump Day, Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy in the house as well. It's Wednesday morning, which means we always check in on some hot topics and some great stories from St. Louis Magazine, brought to us by the editors of the St. Louis Daily, a great newsletter, free newsletter that can come into your email inbox every single morning around 6 a.m. Sarah Fensky on a much-deserved vacation this week. Ryan Kroll, editor editor of St. Louis Daily Newsletter, is joining us this morning. How you doing today, Ryan?
Hey, I am doing great, Jill and Frank. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well and really glad you joined us this morning. I loved the story you broke about this couple met at WashU, married, and now she's in med school, he's an engineer, and they are poised to create an invention that could revolutionize the number of deaths we see due to drug overdoses. Tell us this story.
Yeah, it's a really sweet story, and I guess an important one too. Basically, this couple about a decade ago, they met at WashU whenever they were undergraduates, and like you said, Daniela is her name, and she's in med school now. And she knew someone in her younger years who had overdosed whenever she was like in her very early 20s, and then whenever she was in medical school here at WashU, some friends had witnessed an overdose, and they actually had training on this Narcan, which if you administer to someone who's overdosing on opioids, will reverse the overdose and save their life. So her friends had witnessed someone overdosing. They had the training on Narcan, but they didn't actually have the Narcan. So what her and her now fiance decided to do was basically make a way so someone could carry around Narcan the way they carry around their car keys or their wallet, just a very sort of unobtrusive, small single shot of this life-saving drug. And they've sort of commercialized this technology, and they've got a little startup, and they're hoping to kind of make it into a business. And what's really sweet is that they're both one of them's from the East Coast, one's from the West Coast, but they are like all in on St. Louis. They want to grow their business here. They're engaged to be married next year here. So I love their sort of their technology, their ambition, but also love that they have a true passion for this town.
Another topic, STL Bucket List. Apparently, I'm the only one in St. Louis that is not following them on Instagram. Tell our listening audience about this place, about this digital media empire.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, I was a little bit out of the loop as well, so don't feel too bad. But yeah, it's basically just this one fellow who moved from St. Louis, to St. Louis from Darden Prairie, and just really fell in love with the city. So we started posting on Instagram about like restaurants and little shops that he liked and things like that. And then he quickly found that his posts were really, really well done, getting a lot of traction. So he started basically like an online advertising agency where he has accounts for various restaurants and small businesses where he helps them get their message out on Instagram and other social media. And they've grown to where they now have like a podcast. And their content is on other platforms as well. And then the reason that I wrote about them just this morning was that they acquired Sauce Magazine, which is kind of more of like an old school, and beloved food news publication. And they're really adamant that they're going to breathe some new life into this magazine, have it launch a podcast, beef up their digital presence, but also keep the print product in place. So I think we can all, or at least I, bemoan the sort of, demise of print media, but I love that these guys who've really made their name in digital media clearly have an affinity for print media as well and are putting their money where their mouth is in regard to it.
Something that St. Louis has become known for nationally, but I think locally here, it flies under our radar. We're just not aware of what agri-tech powerhouse we are becoming. And so for those of us who are really naive about this, help us understand what the heck agri-tech is, why St. Louis is getting so big in this industry, and what the latest startup is in our town.
Yeah, I love it. This is really a booming sector. Yeah, you're totally right. It kind of flies under the radar here locally. But for folks in this space nationally, internationally, they all know about St. Louis. Yeah, so basically, and again, I'm far from the expert here. It gets in the weeds fast with this kind of stuff. But yeah, basically, it's sort of, if you think about like the intersection of technology and agriculture, we are sort of a real hub for that, in large part because of the Danforth Plant Sciences Center at WashU. They put a lot of money and a lot of brain power into this area of research. And yet the most recent sort of startup to come out of the Danforth Center is this company called Spearhead Bio. And basically what they're doing is they're finding a way to edit the genes of like soybeans and corn in order to make those crops more hardy or hardier, more resistant to drought, to flood. So as we kind of start to see more and more extreme weather throughout the whole world, the idea would be if you sort of plant these varieties of crops, they'll be a little bit more resilient to whatever, Mother Nature is going to throw at them. And I have no clue how they're doing this. It involves CRISPR, which is like a gene editing program, but they have their own little spin on it. I'd be lying if I told you I understood it completely, but I'm very, very stoked that this is happening in St. Louis. And I guess I should just say these are not genetically modified crops. There's they're able to sort of not introduce any foreign DNA into the soybean or the corn. They're using the corn's own or the soybean's own DNA to sort of make it hardier. So I love it. I don't totally understand it, but I'm thrilled that it's happening here.
Adam Wainwright will be on stage with his band. Big League Impact is the nonprofit. It'll be at the Factory July 27th. And he's going to have from some former, well, they're going to be current Cardinal pitchers, maybe for a few more days, Ryan Helsley and Steven Matz before they get traded. But this is going to be a really cool event for a great cause.
Yeah, I love it. I think I don't know. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I was maybe a little bit skeptical when I heard that Adam Wainwright was going to, in his retirement, pursue a music career. But I think he's just really impressed all of us, both with his talent and how kind of serious he's taken it, and the fact that he's putting on. I think this is the first time he's headlined a gig this big. He's obviously open for some big names, but I think this will be the first time where he's really kind of going to be the star of the show in a musical context on such a big stage with so many people. And yeah, like you said, it's for a great cause. It's for his nonprofit. They could have done it anywhere. Obviously, he's a big name, but they did it right here, and I really, really, I think that's awesome.
So earlier in the show, Frank was telling about the great tribute and send-off to Art Holiday, who's had such an impact in St. Louis media as well. And you guys just did a great feature on Art. What was interesting to you that you learned about him that maybe you didn't know before, and where can people read the feature?
Sure. Yeah. If you just go to stlmag.com, it's going to be right there. Click on news, and it's going to be one of the first stories that comes up, or just Google STL Mag Art Holiday. But yeah, it was such a pleasure to talk to him last week for this story. And yeah, what surprised me was how open he was about the things in his life that didn't totally pan out. Bob Costas tried to get him a job as a sideline reporter for the NBA. On NBC, which for Art would have been kind of like a dream job. He, a network director in New York, thought he might be able to be the sports director there. And for whatever reason, these opportunities just didn't pan out. And Art was very open about it. He said, I was in St. Louis at KSDK for 46 years. There were 46 great years. Would I have gone somewhere else? Sure. But am I upset that I stayed here? No, not at all. It was really amazing to kind of hear the sort of nuance and depth with which he talked about his own career. And it was, totally obvious why he's been so successful for so long, just spending half an hour with the guy.
Good stuff. Ryan, we appreciate your time. We'll talk in the near future. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, you guys have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Speaking of good stuff, don't just take my word for it. I'm an OxyFresh customer. They did an incredible job at my house. They did an amazing job here at the KTRS studios, which they can do at your home and business as well. But just listen to some of the reviews that customers on their own have written about OxyFresh because they had such a positive experience. Great job, quick, efficient, didn't try to sell me additional products. Fast, best carpet cleaning I've ever seen. Such a smooth sale. Great communication from the company. Cleaned all of the rooms in the house with carpet and got rid of every daily use stain. Looks absolutely great. And my favorite, watching our tech work was like watching Bob Ross paint. If Bob Ross had a turbo-powered steam extractor and a vendetta against pet odor. He took on every stain like it had personally offended him, and he won. I want that guy to write books because that reviewer is such a great writer. But whether you take the time to write the review or not, the fact is many, many customers end up being so happy with OxyFresh, they tell their friends and family about it, which I think is such a good sign of a great company. 1-877-OxyFresh or oxyfresh.com. That's OXI Fresh.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a Banner day.
Before you put your home on the market, before you have to pay money fixing it up to sell it, before you have to pay real estate commissions, call me. I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I will buy your home. Any property, any condition, anywhere, and always as is. Call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. You have nothing to lose when you call Robank Properties at 314-283-0867.
It's Julie Buck here for Dense Express STL. Let's talk about a live and local company that is really doing an incredible job. Let's shine a spotlight on this family-owned business. They are fantastic at what they do. And of course, they fix your car when you have dents. I mean, we've had a lot of hail damage that's gone around lately, and there are some people that like to put it off. Well, don't worry. You can still get this covered in most cases under insurance. And our friends at Dense Express STL will actually take care of the paperwork for you, because that's one of the things that I feel like deters people from getting that repair done. But do it. Get your car back to looking good, making your ride look smooth. Make also minor collision repairs, Dense Express STL. And they do want you to make an appointment. That's the best thing to do. It's just to make an appointment. You can simply do that online, or you can call them. Find out more on their website. It's denseexpressstl.com with 2 locations, one in St. Charles and one in Baldwin.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen. A moment to find your dream, or build one. A moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Foundation cracks come in many different shapes and sizes: vertical, horizontal, diagonally. Is that crack just a crack, or is that crack going to lead to a leak? You need to know the answer. Hi, everybody. McGraw-Milhaven here for Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Who do you call? Who can you trust? Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Call my friend Dale. He is the industry leader. They will accurately assess and fix your crack permanently. 314-262-6277 or stlouisfoundationrepair.com.
You know what they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and windows and doors are usually that first impression when it comes to your home. Dalco Home Remodeling custom makes their windows and doors, and better yet, they make them here in Missouri. Dalco Home Remodeling is locally and family owned, celebrating 50 years, so they know a thing or two. The Dalco team is known for quality and customer satisfaction. That's the way it was 50 years ago when they started, and that's still true today. So if you're looking to change the look of your home without breaking the bank, call Dalco Home Remodeling. They do free in-home estimates. Just call 314-298-7300 and make an appointment. You can also check them out online at dalcohomeremodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. So call Dalco first, 314-298-7300.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
And welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Our Back to the Feature is Back to the Future. Tariq Khan will be in here to talk about that iconic movie. Michael Steinberg talking about what he's doing in Chesterfield, which is magnificent. If you'd like to be a part of the program, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126, and you can watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, good stuff. And so you have a really fun night planned. I got to hang out a little bit with Julie Buck yesterday and Max Foisey on the Carney Show, and she's going to be there tonight. Joe Buck's going to be there, and really a veritable who's of Cardinals greats. Tony La Russa's event tonight.
Yes. It's Celebrate Cardinal Championships at the Stiefel, I should say. And you're going to have people, they're going to do it kind of an interesting way, is they're going to show like a great moment from this particular player's career, like Jim Edmonds' catch like in Game 7. And then he's going to describe what he did before that moment to make that happen. Jim Edmonds had this rare ability to look into the catcher's hands and to see what the pitch was going to be and where it was going to go, and it would allow him to adjust, one way or the other step or get a jump on the ball. You'll hear from Dave Stewart, who was a great player for La Russa with the Oakland A's, David Freese, David Eckstein, World Series MVPs. So it's going to be a real cool night, and it's going to benefit animal rescue groups, Tony's, and ones in St. Louis. We're excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a lot of fun. And still some tickets available?
There are, yes. And I think they seat 3,000 at Stiefel nowadays. And I was in there yesterday or 2 days ago interviewing Tony. That place, just magnificent. I don't know if you've been to Stiefel lately, but it's just gorgeous.
It really is. And it's remember when there was a lot of talk about it, about renovating it way back in the day in my early Channel 2 days, and I'm so glad we did, because it's just a great event for stuff like this, and then it's a fun place to go see a show.
I wonder how many cities have, like, if you combine them all, Powell Symphony Hall, the Fox, the Muni, Stiefel. I mean, those are iconic, all of them.
Yeah, I think your point is not only is it other cities have theaters, but are each of them their own kind of architectural marvel.
Yeah. Like, you could never build some of these. Every time I walk into the Fox, it's amazing. You just stare at the ceiling.
I could go once a month, once a week, and I could just stand there with my head on a swivel the whole time. I know I already used this term, but it really is a marvel. I've taken friends from out of town there for the first time, and they just can't believe it. We're really lucky to have it. Recently we had some friends in from Seattle, and we took them to the new cathedral. They had the same experience. They said, this rivals what I've seen in Europe, and waited for hours to walk in. This is incredible. And I have multiple friends from St. Louis who have never walked in that building. Just said cathedral. They never, they're not Roman Catholic. Yeah, they just haven't gotten around to it. And I said, it doesn't matter about religious affiliation. It's a marvel. You've got to go in and see this.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're talking Back to the Feature with Tariq Khan.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
No
one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group, and as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you love pickleball? Experience Major League Pickleball right here in St. Louis, July 17th through the 20th at Chavis Arena. Feel the energy as the world's best teams battle it out for first place. Every serve, rally, and point. It's electric. It's more than a match. Enjoy great food, fun activities, and an exciting family-friendly atmosphere. Meet the stars, get autographs, and see all the action up close. Tickets are limited, so get them now at MLPSTL.com. That's MLPSTL.com. Major League Pickleball.
There's nothing else like it. This is the Big 550. KTRS St. Louis. From O'Fallon, Illinois to Granite City, Glen Carbon to Waterloo, and the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. House lawmakers expected to reconsider a package on cryptocurrency today after the measure failed to get enough votes to advance to the House floor for a vote yesterday. President Trump once again working the phones to convince holdout Republicans to support the measures which he campaigned on. More from ABC's Jay O'Brien.
House Republicans will try once again today to pass a slate of cryptocurrency bills, a top priority of President Trump after suffering a serious setback when a dozen GOP hardliners staged a surprise revolt, paralyzing the House floor and forcing votes yesterday to be canceled.
Critics of the bill say the measures don't support a centralized bank that controls digital assets. In Gaza, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation says at least 20 Palestinians were killed in a deadly stampede today at an Israeli U.S.-backed food distribution site in southern Gaza. Many of the wounded taken to Nasser Hospital. ABC's Marcus Moore says hundreds of Palestinians have died at the aid sites in recent weeks, and there have been reports of contractors shooting into the crowd.
There were dozens or so many families that were going to one of these aid distribution sites to get food for their families. There was a stampede, and we now know that a number of people have died, as many as 20.
New data shows inflation, at least at the wholesale level, slowed more in June than what economists expected. It comes a day after consumer prices last month were showing to be higher. ABC's Rachel Scott has more.
Experts say it's a sign that Americans are starting to feel the impacts at their wallet of the president's ongoing trade war. Inflation now up nearly 3% from just last year. So that means Americans are paying more on everything from groceries to clothes to furniture.
Forecasters keeping watch on a storm system that crossed over Florida and now into the Gulf. The National Hurricane Center still has a 40% chance for development in a tropical depression in the next 48 hours. You're listening to ABC News.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar.
Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. A new study by Harvard researchers provides fresh evidence to support the health concerns of many people raised in North St. Louis County near Coldwater Creek. Harvard gathered information from more than 4,000 people who grew up near Coldwater Creek in the 1950s and 60s when radioactive contamination was thought to be at its highest. The researchers found a higher incidence of cancer for people who lived within 1 kilometer or 0.6 of a mile from the creek. The most common cancers were thyroid, breast, and leukemia. The study is published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. 4 suspects are in custody after an overnight police chase that ended in a crash in North St. Louis. Police say this all began just after 12:30 this morning when officers spotted a vehicle along I-70 in North St. Louis, which had been taken during a carjacking yesterday. The suspect sped off in the stolen vehicle and went into North County. The chase returned to North St. Louis, with the suspects crashing into a utility pole along Lillian and Plover Avenues. The suspects were arrested after a brief foot chase. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey's office continues to build its case to have the St. Louis sheriff removed from office. The story from KTRS's Jill Enders.
The Missouri Attorney General's office has subpoenaed a skydiving company in efforts to remove St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery from office. Bailey's office alleges that on June 20th, Montgomery failed to transport and supervise inmates for medical care, and later that same day went skydiving. Earlier this month, a judge overseeing the legal proceedings filed by Bailey's office announced a bench trial set for November 10th. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
A deal has been reached between Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield and the University of Missouri Healthcare. Both companies announced yesterday that they have reached a deal to bring nearly 90,000 Anthem customers back into the MU Healthcare network. Anthem and MU Healthcare had failed to reach a deal by an April 1st deadline, leaving thousands of patients without health insurance. Cardinal fans will be joining baseball legend Tony La Russa this evening for a night celebrating a decade of Cardinal champions. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
Tonight's program focuses on the team from the 2000 to 2011 seasons. You'll see highlight videos, along with former players, including David Freese, David Eckstein, and Jim Edmonds, describing key game moments and sharing behind-the-scenes experiences. Tony La Russa previewed tonight's event on The Carney Show.
The point is that this is really for fans. When our guys get together, we had a lot of fun reliving these memories, and we started thinking, look, let's connect it to the fans. They deserve to see the videos and hear the guys explain it. So that's why I hope the fans understand that, we're actually doing it more for them, and so they can be a part of the celebration.
The Celebrate Cardinals Championship event begins this evening at 6:30 at the Stiefel Theater with a pre-show and Q&A at 5:45. Joe Buck is the MC, and you can get ticket information at stiefeltheater.com. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Right now on Wall Street, the Dow Jones is up 25 points to 44,049. S&P 500 is down 4 points to 6,238, and the Nasdaq is down 34 points to 20,643. KTRS Sports, the National League won baseball's All-Star Game following the first ever home run swing-off to decide a tied 6-6 contest after 9 innings. The Cardinals' Brendan Donovan entered the game in the 5th inning and was the only player with multiple hits, becoming the first Cardinal to have 2 hits in an All-Star game since Albert Pujols in 2008. St. Louis City SC could have Celio Pompeo available after a scary shoulder injury against Portland. Interim coach David Critchley said there was no structural damage done, and it's a matter of pain tolerance for Pompeo. KTRS weather today, a mix of sun and clouds, muggy with a chance of spot storm, high of 93. Tonight, cloudy with an overnight low of 74, and tomorrow, rain possible, high of 87. Currently, it's 88 degrees at 11:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
All right, welcome to our segment called Back to the Future, and it's Back to the Future. Tara Khan, the great movie reviewer, is in studio. $19 million budget, $388 million box office. Why was this so special?
You know, it's fantastic, Frank. If you think about it, if you went back 40 years ago and a studio said, okay, we want a movie that's comedy, that's drama, that is romance, that's action, that's suspense, that is science fiction, and we want it to be a movie that everyone can enjoy. Kids, teenagers, adults, people can take their grandparents to, and we want it to be a blockbuster. You would have said that's impossible. I mean, how can you combine all those elements and make it into a movie that everyone's going to love? I mean, that would just seem just not possible. But Back to the Future pulled it off. I mean, it combined all those different genres together, and the balance was absolute perfection. And from start to finish, that film, I mean, you laughed, you were on the edge of your seat, you were moved, you were in suspense, you were rooting for these characters. Especially, of course, Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, and it was just one of the greatest cinematic experiences I think that most people, had in their lifetimes.
It really stood out to me on this rewatch of it. What a brilliant script it is, and a plot concept. It just came out of nowhere in some ways. I just had never conceived of any of these ideas, and so I thought it was interesting that Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, of course, from St. Louis, who you mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, Frank, friend of Frank, as we like to call him in FOF, they met at USC's film school, and Zemeckis said the idea for the whole movie came from looking at his dad's old yearbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating, to think that, okay, when I was, in high school, if I'd been in high school with my father, would we be friends? And that's a fascinating concept. That's one which he thought of, and that was the premise for Back to the Future. And by putting these characters in that position, having Marty McFly, go back and to experience, high school, meeting his father and his mother when they were teenagers, I mean, the concept was just brilliant. And the chemistry, the dynamic between the characters and what happened, I mean, absolutely fantastic.
And the best story surrounding the casting is Eric Stoltz, who was in some famous movies like Pulp Fiction and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Mask.
Was cast in the role of Marty McFly. He was on the set for 5 weeks. In fact, his hand is actually in the movie, and you can watch clips online of him actually in the movie. And it set up one of the busiest stretches in acting history because he rehearsed for Family Ties from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. He was Alex B. Keaton, the conservative who grew up with the hippie parents. And the show was second in Nielsen ratings. I mean, they had a show where they got 37 million people watching. And then he would rush back to the Future set where he would rehearse and shoot until 2 a.m. And this lasted for 2 months. Think about that. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then you go work till 2:30 a.m. Second highest rated TV show, highest rated movie. Who was hotter than Michael J. Fox in 1985? And oh, by the way, he did Teen Wolf too.
Oh, exactly. What's funny is that when Family Ties debuted in 1982, it at first was not a success. And the first couple seasons, it did okay. But what they did by the third season was they started to focus more on Alex B. Keaton, of course, played by Michael J. Fox. They realized that they had comic gold with this guy. And by focusing on him, the ratings started to rise, and it became like a must-see TV show every single week, Family Ties, by the 1984-1985 season. So when Michael J. Fox was then working on Back to the Future, he was in Family Ties, one of the biggest TV stars at the time. With Back to the Future, his casting was genius because that character, Marty McFly, it had to be the guy next door. It had to be somebody that everybody liked. He had to be charming, and he had to be ordinary. He couldn't be too good looking, too athletic. He had to be funny. And Michael J. Fox was just the perfect casting choice. And it's funny that Marty McFly was so different from Alex B. Keaton on Family Ties.
Yeah.
But still, Fox, he played both parts so well. And really, he was, I think, the magic ingredient which really helped Back to the Future become the classic that it is.
Yeah, I loved it. You and I were in the middle of high school in this movie, and I think we could all relate with that Marty McFly character so much because he was part really cool guy, you know, when he plays the riff with Chuck Berry and all of that. But then he also had this kind of nerdy, doesn't quite fit in, not sure how to make things turn out aspect. Connor, I always got to ask you, representing Millennial Gen Z for us here, does this movie stand the test of time for you?
Yeah, this is a great movie. Love this movie. I don't think I don't think it gets dated too much, although there are some things that, you know, very 80s-ish about it, but of course it is. It was made in 1985.
Jill mentioned Marty McFly on stage. Let's hear just a little bit of that. That was him playing a little Chuck Berry. It was such an 80s movie, like Peanut Brittle, like Nike Cortezes, Pepsi Free, which was around just for a few years, exactly. DeLoreans, Huey Lewis music, the skateboards. I mean, no movie typified the 80s more than this one.
Oh, yeah, Back to the Future. I mean, a classic 80s movie right in the middle of the decade, 1985. And, you know, the scene towards the beginning of the film where you hear The Power of Love, I mean, by Huey Lewis and the News. And, of course, Huey Lewis had a cameo in the film. But hearing that song played towards the beginning of the film, I mean, it just set the movie off so well. And that song, by the way, The Power of Love, was an Oscar nominee for Best Original Song. It would have been a great choice to win, but it lost to Separate Lives from White Nights.
I think that the actor's portrayal of both the mom and the dad, I think it's a little bit underrated. Leah Thompson and Crispin
Glover,
yes. Because they did a really good job of making it somewhat believable that they were sort of burned out middle-aged parents who wondered how their life got to where it got. And, you know, young, naive, immature high school students. I thought that was just I took it for granted at the time, but on the rewatch, that stood out to me.
Yeah, that's, you know, good point, because it could have actually been, it could have seemed very, very fake, very false, if you didn't buy those people as both his parents in 1985 and also as teenagers in 1955. And it worked out so well. I mean, really, their performances, the makeup, the directing, it made you believe that, you know, that they could play his parents, you know, in 1985 and be those teenagers in 55 as well.
And the way he played being creeped out by his mother firing on him, Lee Thompson, was just so well done. I mean, because that's how I think all of us would have responded if we were being fired on by our mother.
Oh, right. I mean, really, a fantastic, you know, concept there. I mean, having, you know, somebody being hit on by their own mother, you know, back in the past. I mean, really, I mean, what could be more fascinating than that? And yeah, seeing his reaction, and when they finally, you know, do kiss, and her saying, "Oh gosh, it feels like I'm kissing my brother." I mean, it really just was comic gold.
All right, how about Christopher Lloyd playing Doc Brown? The best, I think, one of the best little exchanges was political references. Who's the president? John F. Kennedy. No, wait. Yeah, who the hell is John F. Kennedy? And he says, who's president? Ronald Reagan. Who's vice president? Jerry Lewis? Is Jack Benny the Secretary of Treasury? I mean, it was. The way he delivered it was spectacular. Yes,
exactly. Right. But that's, you know, that's a great reference because, of course, you know, Ronald Reagan, you know, was obviously a famous actor back in the 1940s and 50s, and so for him then, you know, to be the future president, I mean, nobody back in 55 would ever believe that. So that was a great line, and it worked out so well. And of course, you know, on Family Ties, Alex B. Keaton was a huge Reagan fan, so there was kind of that inside joke there as well.
Yes, very good point. How about on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126? What do you guys remember about the movie? What did you love about it? What didn't fly for you? I didn't realize until I was doing a little research after the rewatch that the DeLorean wasn't part of the original script, which is hard to believe because it ended up being such an iconic part of the movie.
Oh, right. And in fact, nowadays, whenever anybody talks about, you know, going back in time, they always bring up the DeLorean. I mean, it was such, you know, such a classic, you know, part of that film. And it's hard to imagine that film, you know, working without the DeLorean. I mean, it was so, you know, genius. And of course, you know, the scene towards the very end where Michael J. Fox, of course, when Marty McFly, he does go, you know, back to the president of the time, and he sees, you know, the Libyan terrorists. They show up, and he thinks that Doc Brown has been killed. And then, of course, he realizes that Doc Brown actually read the letter he'd left from 30 years ago, and just one of the great moments in the film.
So reportedly, it was rejected by quite a few studios before somebody took it. And how rare is this, that this movie was not based on any book?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it was a purely original concept. It's funny, one of the reasons many studios rejected it is because they were looking at most of the successful teen comedies at the time were kind of raunchy. I mean, things like Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and they thought Back to the Future was just too squeaky clean. And taking this original concept and working it, making it work so well, I mean, was brilliant. And by the way, it was nominated for the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. I mean, that's that's a
it won one Oscar, right?
For sound editing.
Okay.
That's right. It was not a nominee for Best Picture. There were only 5 slots at the time. If there had been 10, it would have been a surefire nominee. But it was nominated for Original Screenplay. It lost to Witness, another great film. But I think in hindsight, Back to the Future would have been a worthy winner for original screenplay, because what could have been more original than that film? And what could have been better written? It was so cohesive, so tight, brought the characters together so well. It would have been a great choice for that award.
I didn't rewatch any of the sequels for this conversation, just the original. At the time, I thought they were good. I'm not sure if that was just because, I was a teenager, or if they were. What are your thoughts? What's your professional opinion?
It's funny. I've not seen the sequels, since I really saw them in theaters back in 1989 and 1990. And I suppose that the first one, it set the bar so high that it was going to be impossible for parts 2 and 3 to match that. And so I think most moviegoers, I think they were entertained by 2 and 3, but neither one quite had the magic of the original Back to the Future from 1985.
Huey Lewis has a cameo in the movie, and he did not win for Best Original Song. Lionel Richie won Say You, Say Me, but The Power of Love from Back to the Future, that was just, you talk about music throughout the whole movie, it's just perfect.
Oh yeah, it was, and like I was saying, The Power of Love, it really would have been a great choice for best original song. The song itself, it's funny, it wasn't necessarily there was nothing in that song, about the film really. I mean, The Power of Love, but still, it just captured the style. It fit the period so well. It was a great song to have in the film.
I think you'll get a kick out of some of these comments on the Royal Banks of Missouri tech line. Somebody pointing out that Family Ties did well also because it followed The Cosby Show, which has not stood the test of time for a variety of reasons.
No question.
But that's a good point of trivia for somebody else saying they should have gotten the Best Picture nod in '85. Instead, it was Out of Africa. And they said The DeLorean would be a minor footnote in history, but not for that film. And somebody else saying they actually thought that one of the sequels was better.
Oh, interesting.
Did you saw both of the sequels?
Back when they were released, but not since then. Yeah. So, by the way, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, he was fantastic. Many critics said that his performance, was the best in the film, and that his casting was genius. And it's funny, he actually would have been a great choice for a Best Supporting Actor nomination, because he was remarkable in the performance. If you think about it, the winner that year was Don Amici in Cocoon, who barely did anything in that film. I mean, that win was so unwarranted. So, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown in Back to the Future, that would have been a great choice for Best Supporting Actor.
Of course, he was best known at that time for his role in Taxi. And
right.
So it was fun to see him kind of on the big screen in that particular role. He was so larger than life.
Absolutely.
And the most famous line, would it be, "Hello, McFly, anybody home?" I mean, we've all used it.
Oh, absolutely. I would think so. That's fun. It's funny when, a few years after the film came out, when I would use that line, people look at me like kind of funny. But it's funny now that McFly, it really has, stood the test of time. And we hear that so often in other TV shows and, movies. We'll hear that line. So that was brilliant.
Great stuff as usual. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
That is Tariq Khan. That is Back to the Feature on the movie Back to the Future.
Our listeners just absolutely love having you in, Tariq, every single time. We hear from lots of folks about how much fun these segments are, so thanks for making them that way for us. And we'll look forward to, in 2 weeks, Witness. We're going to go back to another great movie from 40 years ago starring Harrison Ford. So between now and 2 weeks from today, rewatch Witness with us and be part of that conversation as well. We love hearing from you guys. One of the other things I love is walking into the studios for the last several weeks, Christmas in July, seeing the boxes out front filling up with some beautiful new unwrapped toys for kids to be part of the Angel Tree Toy Town project that gets done every single year by our friends at the Salvation Army. thousands and thousands. I'm talking the size of a small Missouri town. More than 6,500 kids benefit from having Christmas every year thanks to your generous donations as part of Christmas in July and as part of the Angel Tree Toy Program through the Salvation Army. We're so proud to be partnering, of course, with the Salvation Army once again on this. You can drop off your new unwrapped toys here at the studios, outside the Rawlings Experience, at our friends at Altair Travel and Cruises, or you can join us on Friday night for movies. Speaking of movies, a great one, The Sandlot, free right here in the outdoor courtyard at Westport. All you need to do is bring a new unwrapped toy, get some free popcorn, make it a night, and show your kids or grandkids that you're doing something to support the neediest people in our community.
A message from the Master. If you are looking for that one-of-a-kind gift this year, come on in to Newssetter's Fine Jewelers. Let Richard draw your future present for somebody you love. This special engraving lasts a lifetime. At the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, listen closely as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. What is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call Comprehensive Integrated Healthcare today for a nerve damage screening. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 636-241-9370. Act now. Call 636-241-9370. Be among the first 10 callers and get this important screening for free. 636-241-9370.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer. Christmas in July is off to a great start as we support the Salvation Army and its Angel Tree Toy Town. But we need more toys. Our next movie night in Westport Plaza is Friday, July 18th, the showing of Sandlot. Bring a toy to donate and watch a movie, or you can drop off toys at the KTRS Studios, the Rawlings Experience, and Hats and Stuff anytime.
Wow! Look at all those toys!
Please join us in supporting the Salvation Army Christmas in July campaign and donate an unwrapped toy. Sponsored by Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man, Hey Xander Jewelers, Connor Roofing, The Kolache Factory, Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant, Metal Exchange, Walter Knoll Florist, Dents Express, John Beal Roofing, JBL Financial.
I hope you get lots of presents.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call Cordell & Cordell today, because your business is more than a job, it's your legacy.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
The Missouri Laborers Union and their contractors invest in people, making them extraordinary. How? Through training, creating careers, providing good wages, having superior health insurance, and a strong retirement. These are just a few of the many ways they invest in their members. The Missouri Laborers Union and their contractors understand the importance of having a strong workforce, and it starts with investing in people. Go to buildunion.com for more information.
Let's talk about legacy. Yuengling, 196 years of brewing. Family owned for 6 generations. That's elite. That's first ballot Hall of Fame status. But even the legends evolve. So meet the next generation of light beer. Flight, just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. This isn't some watered, no flavor regret in a can beer. Flight is crisp, clean, and actually tastes like beer. It's time to level up, St. Louis. Flight from Yuengling. TG, Yuengling & Sons, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newssetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online today at bommarito.com.
Want a song?
You're on my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Frank and Jill Show, flying by. Very fun conversation about Back to the Future. And really looking forward to our conversation with Michael Steinberg, founder of course, the multi-billion-dollar Steinberg Group, responsible for a lot of the development that is happening in West St. Louis County. And he's going to give us the inside scoop on what's really happening out at the old Chesterfield Mall site with some new insights you may not have heard before. Looking forward to that coming up a little bit later in the show. Song of the day today it's Fleetwood Mac from the Rumors album. And in a second, we'll talk about why we chose this song. Many people think this is the best album, and of course, Fleetwood Mac was one of those groups that multiple members did the writing. This was Lindsey Buckingham's song, and in a recent interview he did on Dan Rather's interview show, Dan's 90.
Are you kidding?
No, it's really good. Actually, he does a great job.
90 years old, and he's still doing
and
it.
his questions are really good. I listened to quite a bit of this one, and Lindsey Buckingham, young buck, only in his 70s, he talked about all of the turmoil in every one of the members' personal lives, including, of course, the McVies had just gotten divorced. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks had just broken up. And so he talked about how that turmoil actually may be part of the genius of this album. And he said that expressing themselves in their writing and the music creation comes through in those songs, like, Go Your Own Way. When you think about it in that context, there's a lot of energy behind it. I thought that was really cool. I hadn't thought about that before.
I don't bury the lead. Dan Rather working at 90. That is crazy. Do you think anybody else?
93.
93.
Yeah.
And he looks amazing.
Yeah, he really does, and not in a fake way. Just like he hasn't
aged beautifully.
aging.
Speaking of aging well, Stevie Nicks. Have you seen her? She's 73.
Yeah, she looks
still
good
beautiful.
Too. So, do you remember if you go back to that clip, what the name of his of the YouTube show that he has now?
So, like the channel, I guess, is AXS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interviews. He did one with Carly Simon that is actually really good as well.
Yeah, the next one he wants to play is the one he did with Ringo. So,
yeah, and they are very relaxed with him. He apparently is a music aficionado himself. I didn't know that about him. So they're kind of, if you want to hear longer form interviews with some of those great music greats, it's a good source to be able to get that.
Yeah, it's awesome though. A little Fleetwood Mac. That's great stuff.
Were you a Fleetwood Mac fan?
Well, I admired Stevie Nicks a lot.
Really, you thought that she was always the standout musician?
Yes, just loved her.
Yeah, and the way she wrote songs, was that really what it was for you?
Great depth of character. Just a beautiful writer. Her verbs came alive.
Funny story. My mother-in-law, who's just young acting and always on top of stuff, and a big rock music fan from back in the day. And when we got married, she was looking for a mother of the groom dress, and what they were showing her at the department store, she felt was very matronly. And this would have been back in 1992 when she was shopping for the dress. And she looked at the store clerk and she said, "I'm exactly the same age as Stevie Nicks. I need to buy a dress for my son's wedding that Stevie Nicks would wear, not one of these things." And the lady said, "Okay, gotcha." And if you look at the dress she fit, it's perfect, and she looked fabulous in it. And it was a lot cooler than what was probably hanging on the racks at that time.
Wow. All right, let's take a short time out. When we come back, Michael Steinberg.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm more and more confident that we will see a significant heat wave around here next week, but in the short term, a one-day bump in temperatures that's going to be enough to push the heat index into triple-digit territory this afternoon. Up to 94 on the thermometer, but it will feel like 102. Plenty of hot sunshine out there, but maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two this afternoon and this evening. Very few and far between. Overnight tonight, though, some weakening thunderstorms rolling in from the north. They may die entirely before they make it to St. Louis. We'll keep an eye on it. A muggy low of about 75. Now Thursday, not as hot, but still humid. Up to about 88 in the afternoon with a few thunderstorms developing once again. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Truck drivers, it's time to take your skills to a company that invests in your safety and comfort. Schneider's newer and well-maintained equipment keeps drivers moving and making money. Our trucks are spec'd with the latest safety and comfort features that drivers want. Plus, we offer a huge selection of driving jobs so you can find a job with the home time and schedule you've been looking for. Upgrade to a better driving job today. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Andy from Hats and Stuff. We're helping to support the KTRS Big 550 Christmas in July drive this week by offering a 10% discount on anything purchased and then donated to the big box in front of my store at Westport Plaza. We have thousands of ball caps, t-shirts, stuffed animals, and much more for under $20 that can help benefit anyone who may have lost everything in the tornado in May.
Follow your heart and open your wallets for this great cause.
Located in Westport Plaza, across from the Drunken Fish and the Kobe Steakhouse and the Soulard Farmers Market on Saturdays. Hats and Stuff, good stuff at really great prices.
Ho, 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 hats and stuff, hats and stuff, hats and stuff.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
Elevate your home with stunning lighting from Metro Lighting.
Shopping for a gorgeous chandelier for your dining room?
Need a new table lamp?
Or lighting your entire dream home?
Our certified lighting specialists are here to help.
Locally owned with 6 convenient locations.
An amazing selection of lighting for any style and budget.
And all at the guaranteed best price.
And did you know?
Metro Lighting is a great source for furniture, art, and home decor too.
Metro Lighting.
Full of bright ideas for your home.
And welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Frank Cusimano with Jill Farmer. Joining us now is one of the great real estate developers we've ever had in St. Louis, Michael Steinberg. And the new program is going to be at the Chesterfield Mall location. And this is more than just tearing down a mall. Michael, good to be with you. Give our listening audience who has no idea about what you're about to do in Chesterfield what you are going to do.
Well, good morning to you, and thank you for the nice introduction. The Chesterfield Mall is going to be known as Downtown Chesterfield. It's no longer a mall. It's not a mixed-use development. It's truly going to be a downtown. We've gone around the country and looked at things. It's going to be the third leg of the stool. You got downtown St. Louis, you got downtown Clayton, And now welcome to downtown Chesterfield.
Wow, that sounds very cool. And by downtown, you mean like almost like a town square, like in the town that I grew up in. And there's going to be residential, some retail, restaurants, other businesses too?
Exactly. Yeah, the focal point is we're going to put a 3.3-acre park in the middle of this downtown. We're going to have about 2,000 residential units, condos, townhomes for rent, high rises. We're going to have about 200,000 square feet of retail with probably 10 to 15 local restaurants. We're going to have some medical, and we're going to have about 300,000 to 400,000 square feet of office space.
And a Macy's building, which will be almost historically large.
A Macy's building is going to stay, and we're going to convert the first floor to retail and the second and third to offices. And Dillard's is going to stay, and they're going to have about 220,000 feet as a department store. And they're going to reopen in the spring of 2027.
So let's talk a little bit about your vision, because when I have been out at the district, which is a recent development you did in Chesterfield as well in the last 5 or 6 years, I think, it's always hopping. There's always stuff going on. The restaurants are busy. The factory, of course, has become one of St. Louis's most popular concert venues. And I think, there's all this talk all the time about malls are dying and the mall is dying. Did you have a crystal ball to see that if new development needed to be more focused on entertainment and food and less on the traditional go in and buy things and bring my shopping bags home?
That's an interesting thought. However, not really. I think that the district is a little different than what we're doing in downtown. Yes, we have 175 shows this year at the factory. It's the number one music venue in America. We'll have 50 private events. We got the hub. But this downtown that we're really building is an experience. It's a gathering place. It's a community builder. A 3.3-acre park, nobody's done that in the United States. You can have probably 3,000 people in the park. And we're going to have food trucks. We're going to have a bar. We're going to have nice art. So it's a whole different experience. We're going to have retail. A lot of luxury retailers want to be there. And we're excited about that. And again, I want local restaurants. I want this to be something that this region is proud of and bring people in. So yeah, it's a little different than your typical strip shopping center, and I've built plenty of those. But, like Lululemon's interested in coming to downtown. Mr. Guy, kind of stores like that are interested. They have a store in Ladue are interested. We have a lot of specialty markets that are interested. So it's more of a not upscale, but, it's kind of a nice area. I've been to Kirkwood on the weekends. They have some great local retailers, and that's what we're really trying to do.
All right, I know you're still early in the development. The phase is going to take 12 to 18 months, but can you give us an idea, since we are foodies on this show, restaurant-wise, who do you have in your back pocket right now? Who are you thinking about?
We really don't have anybody, but I've been approached by every nice restaurant here in St. Louis. I mean, a ton of people that the Napoli people, that we have at the district. They want to put a store there. People like that. And all the nice chefs want to come out, but it's hard to show them until we have something built. This still is the show me state. I think Missouri's still called that, and especially on something like that. So a lot of foodies, but I think everybody will be happy. I think people are happy with the district, with Napoli, Norwalk, Steve's, High Point, Four Hands. We now have Oaxaca for a Mexican restaurant. So there's a lot of interesting things that we're doing. And again, I don't want to be too early, but I want to get the right tenants and make sure we make the right. I'm not looking for chains. That's one thing I'm not looking for. Capital Grille, I'm sure would love to be out there, but that's really not what I'm looking for.
talk to us about timelines. How soon, if somebody's like, my whole life I've wanted that walking lifestyle. I've lived in the suburbs forever, but I want to be at the place where I can walk to my favorite restaurant or walk to the store or walk down for music events from where I live, kind of what we do see in places like downtown Kirkwood or in my neighborhood in Lafayette Square. It's great to be able to walk to those things from home. How soon can people be expecting that this becomes a reality?
So we've almost done with the demolition. We start grading in August, and by the fall of 2026 or early spring of 2027, all the roads, the grading, the infrastructure, the park, and the renovation of the exterior of Macy's will be done. So people will probably start living there in the fall of 28 or the spring of 28. But we'll have offices before then. We'll have retailers before then, and the park will be activated.
Michael, you've also given a tremendous amount of money to charities in St. Louis. Tell me why.
You know, people ask me that because it makes me feel good. I was one of those people that a lot of people helped, and I went to camp on a scholarship, and I'll never forget what it felt like to have someone take an interest in me. And, you know, it's important to give back. You know, I'm trying to make St. Louis a better region, and I'm proud of what I've done. But it's just not the money. It's the time and talent and to make these organizations better and how they can improve. I just think it's important that that I've been fortunate and that I should be able to do something that makes the region a better region.
Yeah, not to embarrass you, but to the tune of $500 million you've helped, which I think is pretty astounding. Now, you, like my husband, hail originally from Omaha. Also, like him, you've probably spent as much time in St. Louis as anywhere else in your life, and you seem to love this town. What is it about St. Louis that has kept you here and made you want to do so much of your work and philanthropy here?
You know, I always say live locally, give locally. I like St. Louis. I could live anywhere else in the United States. I love St. Louis. I moved here in 1983, 42 years ago. And it's just a nice place. I mean, the traffic is not bad. The people are nice, except I didn't go to high school here. So if I can get past that,
yeah, samesies.
I think I've gotten past that. I think, but it's a great place to live. And I really enjoy it. It's a nice lifestyle. You don't have to have reservations 10 years ahead to go to a restaurant. There's good restaurants. There's fun things to do. We're lucky. We have, Forest Park is a fantastic place.
Sure is.
And, the City Museum, the art museums, the contemporary art museums, like you mentioned Lafayette Square. It's a great place to go visit and walk around. It's historic. So we don't realize how good we have it. The botanical gardens. I could go on. And I really think we're lucky in that regards. And I just like living here. Everybody, the only part of someone asked me the other day about the weather. I said, there's only one time of year I don't like, and that's when it's freezing rain or ice. Other than that, I'm good. And so, we got a nice airport. Everybody, we're lucky to have a nice airport. Sure, could it be better and more routes? Yeah, but you know what? Let's quit complaining. Let's embrace what we have.
Michael Steinberg is with us. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Give me the moment where it was instrumental in your career, where it kind of put you over the top. Maybe it was a big loan you had to get, and it was kind of a gutsy move, but that really set you up for where you are now. What was the gutsy move that you did?
Probably the gutsy move was when I met Webb Leslie of McDonald's. I was absolutely broke in 1978, working as a broker. And I called Webb Leslie here in St. Louis. He used to be at the Safety Federal Building at 270 in Manchester. And I said, I'd like to do your restaurant deals. And he asked me one question. He said, how many restaurant deals have you ever done? I said, none. Well, at least you can tell the truth. What are you doing for lunch? I'm in Kansas City at 8 in the morning, and he says to show up at 12:30. That gentleman made my career. I met more people because of him and became the broker for McDonald's. I met Sam Walton. I met a lot of people because of that contact.
Wow, great story. You also met Stan Kroenke. How would you characterize your relationship with Stan over the years?
I think it was good. Unfortunately, he had a different view of the world than I. But what I say to people: if you walked in the room, I'd say, "Hey, Stan, thank you." I have no animosity. I learned a lot. I did a lot, and everybody, and nothing's forever. And he went his way, I went my way, and I think we've both been successful. And I thank him for the opportunities he's afforded me for the 22 years we were together.
Michael, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on the new project at Chesterfield. We really appreciate it.
Great, and I hope to see you out here. And in fact, I'm here today, and I think people are going to be shocked. And it's not a visionary project. It's something that is a passion project for me to set the region up for the future.
Yeah, well said. A couple of our texters texting and saying thanking you for your years of support, St. Louis effort for AIDS and Vivint Health as well. Thanks so much for being with us. We look forward to future conversations on the progress.
Thank you, and thanks. Have a great day.
Fun conversation. To hear he and Steve Shankman and people who have worked so hard to make St. Louis better, taken big risks. Yes, they've made a lot of money doing it too, and believing in us. I think we all have to kind of take some of that in, what they're saying to us, change the narrative. Bob O'Loughlin, who's going to be on tomorrow, he's the same way.
Think about the week we've had on the Frank and Jill show in terms of movers and shakers. Michael Steinberg, Bob O'Loughlin, and Steve Shankman. If we just had a fraction of their money.
Yeah, we're doing okay. We have a pretty darn good life with pretty great families. I don't think anybody. Don't cry for us, Argentina. Life is just fine here in the Frank and Jill world, I have to say. But it would be better if I went to Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery for lunch today, because the food is delicious. The atmosphere is casual and fun. It used to be a service bay in the back of the gas station at Phillips 66 Station in Clayton Road, but it's clean, white, fresh, and relaxed. And so it's any day you go in there, you'll see business people having important conversations. You'll see old friends meeting up. You'll see regulars. You'll see people who've heard about it, places like this for the first time. And it's just a great place to grab a delicious lunch, to pick up dinner for your family, or to reach out to them and have them cater your next business. I have a good friend who's there just about every week, getting a whole pile of their smoked turkey. She's somebody who's trying to get a lot of protein, eat a little healthier, and she said she got really sick of that deli stuff from the grocery store. And once she discovered the Three Bay turkey, when she was out having them getting some stuff for a party that she was hosting, she said, I got addicted to it, and I realized it really helps me stick to my goals. If you're not so interested in the healthy stuff, boy, there's a lot of other good options for you as well. Smash burger tacos. They love the creativity of taking barbecue at its best and making it even better in unique ways. So whether you need them for catering or you just want to stop by and have a great lunch, website 3baybarbecueandbakery.com, or better yet, stop by the back of the Phillips 66 Station at Clayton Road and 141.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, listen closely as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. What is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call Comprehensive Integrated Healthcare today for a nerve damage screening. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 636-241-9370. Act now. Call 636-241-9370. Be among the first 10 callers and get this important screening for free. 636-241-9370.
Seems like everyone has some sort of hail damage to their car. And if that's you, Dents Express is the next phone call. You see, Dents Express has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in paintless dent removal, hail damage, and minor collision repair. They have 2 locations. At Dents Express, they will work with your insurance company and handle all the paperwork and get your car back to you looking as good as new. Dents Express, STL.com. 2 locations, 1 great family, Dents Express, STL.com.
The University of Missouri St. Louis offers academic programs at the undergraduate, graduate, doctoral, and professional levels to fit any passion, purpose, and schedule. At UMSL, More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Foundation cracks come in many different shapes and sizes: vertical, horizontal, diagonally. Is that crack just a crack, or is that crack going to lead to a leak? You need to know the answer. Hi, everybody. McGraw-Milhaven here for Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Who do you call? Who can you trust? Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Call my friend Dale. He is the industry leader. They will accurately assess and fix your crack permanently. 314-262-6277 or stlouisfoundationrepair.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella Windows specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
Are you old school or are you new school? Doesn't really matter, because if you need a hardware store, where do you go? Schnarr's Hardware, and their 2 locations, East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and of course their world headquarters on Clayton Road. You see, Schnarr's Hardware is one of those places where you walk in and you say, this thing broke off my toilet. Do you have one of these? Yeah, follow me. And they take you in the back and you pass 19 different aisles of things that you wish you could stop and look at. And do you need a 3-inch or a 4-inch? I think I need a 3-inch. Great. I'll buy 2 and I'll bring the other one back. That's why Schnarr's Hardware has been so successful. It's the customer service and the attention to detail. Whether you need fertilizer or whether you need something for the kitchen, maybe you need something for the big green egg. 2 locations, 1 great hardware store, Schnarr's Hardware. And yes, the popcorn is always free, as well as the smell, because it smells like a hardware store. East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and on Clayton Road in Ladue, Schnarr's or schnarrs.com. We'll see you there.
You know what they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and windows and doors are usually that first impression when it comes to your home. Dalco Home Remodeling custom makes their windows and doors, and better yet, they make them here in Missouri. Dalco Home Remodeling is locally and family owned, celebrating 50 years, so they know a thing or two. The Dalco team is known for quality and customer satisfaction. That's the way it was 50 years ago when they started, and that's still true today. So if you're looking to change the look of your home without breaking the bank, call Dalco Home Remodeling. They do free in-home estimates. Just call 314-298-7300 and make an appointment. You can also check them out online at dalcohomeremodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. So call Dalco first, 314-298-7300.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna, they get a team that truly cares about their success. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Are you looking forward to having Milo's Bocce Garden in tomorrow to talk food and business and city leadership with Joel Volmer? I sure am.
I haven't been there lately, but I remember some pretty good meatballs in the past. They have some good food down there.
Yeah, the last couple times we've brought friends in, we've done like the appetizer spread, and it is pretty darn good. Randy Naughton in the house today, going to be joining John Carney, going to be joining Julie Buck on the John Carney Show along with Max Foisey. After we're done, they have some great guests lined up, and Julie and Randy are always a great pairing, so looking forward to listening to them this afternoon. Also on the show tomorrow, we have Bob O'Loughlin talking about this entertainment district downtown. You and I both are like, I keep reading about it. I don't really understand it. We need him to interpret it for us.
And he's gotten some good news from Jefferson City with some, funds from the government, which will help out this great project.
Just continuing the St. Louis movers and shakers theme here for the week.
That's a great thought. Also, I'm headed to Lombardo's by the airport, maybe the best toasted rav in town. I'm going to speak to the Lombardo football chapter. There's like 80 guys. They're all sports fanatics. Jim Thomas is going to be asking me the questions. I'm excited about it.
Ah, that sounds like a really fun afternoon. A little more interesting than mine for sure. More interesting than yours too, Connor, or you got fun stuff planned?
Well, I'll be here for, several more hours.
Okay, so
and
you
then,
win. You
yeah.
win. You win for sure. Hey, so glad you joined us for today, and we can't wait to have you back tomorrow. Stick around for the Carney Show with Julie Buck, Randy Naughton, and Max Voisey right after the news.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
KTRS St. Louis, the Big 550, and KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. There are growing calls across the aisle for the Justice Department to release all the files from the federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. The convicted sex offender died by suicide ahead of a sex trafficking trial. President Trump telling reporters today he stands by Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's facing pressure from Republicans and some Trump supporters for keeping certain records sealed, including a so-called Epstein client list. The president making unfounded claims that the list is fake.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
ABC's Karen Travers has more.
He doesn't want to talk about this and has pushed back anytime questions have been asked about this. And goes back to last week when he was in a cabinet meeting and a reporter asked about this, and he indicated he was surprised that the question was even coming up. But since then, his supporters have not let this go. Some of his most